Hey, Dustin Pancari with Klim, and today I want to walk through our brand new Edge frameless goggle, new to the market for us. First off, we went and received as much feedback as we could from our race teams, our snowcross guys, our professional hill climbers, our backcountry riders. We got as much feedback as we possibly could saying, hey, what would you want to see in the ultimate ideal goggle? So then we took that information and a couple of bullet points there. The first thing was field division, as wide a field division as possible. So that led us to a frameless design. Well, what is a frameless design? I mean, obviously it has to have a frame, right? But what it means is the frame is actually on the lens goes clear to the very outside edge of the frame, and the lens doesn't have to clip into the frame. So let's compare it to our Oculus goggle here. You'll see how you can see the frame around the outside, and the lens kind of has to clip into a slot. Where on this goggle, the lens goes all the way to the outside, and there's a very small sealing surface that it butts into on the outside. In order to do that, we had to come up with an attachment system that would allow us to quickly remove the lens. So we've done that with a magnetic system, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. The second goal we had with this is we wanted to be able to have the snow just fall off and not stick to the lens. Especially our snowcross guys are getting roosted a lot. They can't have that lens sticking or the snow sticking to the lens. They can't take their hands and wipe it during a snowcross race. Mountain guys, same issue. If we're dropping down a chute, we've got snow hitting us in the face. We want to be able to have that snow just come off and be able to have clear vision all the time. So, you know, optical clarity and vision were the keys with this, or were our goals with this new product. So the Edge, you know, obviously that's why we named it the Edge, because we've gone clear to the edge with the gasket to get maximum field of vision. So, okay, let's go through and talk about the little details of the goggle, why we did it, and how it's benefiting the rider. So the first is the magnetic lens we talked about. It's really easy to remove it. There's a slider on the side, and you just slide it up, and then the whole goggle just pushes, the whole lens just pushes right out. There's little small magnets around. You're probably not going to be able to see it on the camera, but that hold it into place in the frame. And then to reinstall the lens, you just line it up over on the side, and it just magnetically clips back in. The slider on the side is just a safety measure in case we were to get popped with a stick or something like that to keep from the lens releasing from the magnets. So it's super simple, super fast. If you ever have to change lenses due to light conditions or things like that, it takes 10 seconds to change them. So the magnetic system is really convenient. The next thing is we have a removable beak system that's also magnetic. It latches on the sides, but there's a magnet in the center. So if you're wearing a balaclava that, say, has a beak on it and you don't want the balaclava to touch this beak, you can remove it. Or maybe it's a helmet that you want some clearance there, so that beak is removable. The next feature I want to talk about in the goggle was one that we did a significant amount of testing with, and we got a lot of rider feedback. And I'm going to flip the goggle over. You're going to see there's a debossed area right here. So that's where we take the foam and we compress it at the factory. We sent samples to a lot of our racers and a lot of our backcountry guys to have them place the goggle on their face and see how it felt. And we tried to make the shape of the foam and the goggle frame itself fit as many face shapes as possible to get maximum comfort. There's two reasons that's important. One, you don't want the pressure on your nose, because that can be inconvenient over time and kind of uncomfortable. And also, it can make it hard to breathe. So we really wanted to make this area seal to the nose as good as we possibly could for comfort, and then also to reduce any chance of fogging, to let moisture get back up in that area. So we spent a lot of time focusing on the fit in this area to make it as comfortable as possible and also to function as well as possible. You'll notice if you look around the edge of the goggle here, we've got a lot of surface area of foam. And what that allows us to do is any moisture that might be produced from the face, sweat or vapor, is allowed to get up and out through this foam area. So a ton of just open area foam here that won't let snow get through, but will let that moisture get away from your face. Again, that's a function thing to prevent fogging. So maximum air capacity, and then also maximum ventilation around the outside, all the way around the outside. One thing we learned from our snowcross guys was making sure the goggle didn't move. So we've gone with a very large strap, a 50mm strap, and I'll just compare that. This is our Oculus was also a pretty large strap, but we've even gone a little larger on the Edge Goggle. And you'll notice we've got silicone straps, I don't know if you can see that on the video, to keep the goggle from moving around on the helmet. So that silicone should, I'm going to move this over here, the silicone should bite the helmet really well here and keep the goggle from moving around. So if you're an aggressive rider, you're dropping drops, you're heading to the trees, maybe a branch is going to grab it, it's not going to try to pull that goggle away from your helmet. Or if you're racing, it's not going to try to move around on bumps and jumps. So that was something we really focused on. It's an outrigger goggle. So what an outrigger goggle is where the strap is mounted. It comes all the way out away from the frame. And to compare that, here's one of our Viper goggles where the strap goes through the frame. And what that does is that adjusts how the goggle sits on the face and how far it's allowed to come back into the helmet. Some people prefer an outrigger, some people don't. We find through asking consumers what they liked, most of them like an outrigger because it allows them to get the goggle up against the face a little bit more. So this goggle uses an outrigger system. We're using a 3-layer foam to control moisture and venting if you happen to sweat or you get moisture coming down from the helmet across the top of the brow. We want to prevent that from getting into the goggle, so we've got a nice thick 3-layer moisture system. We also took a lot of feedback on how high the foam should go to seal to the helmet. Chris Brandt, Keith Curtis, Dan Adams, Matt Ents, all these guys were doing testing with different heights of foams so that we could find that optimal comfort level to seal the foam to the helmet, but also make it comfortable and not rub and put pressure on the face. Okay, so from a lens standpoint, we're offering a lot of options in lenses. We're going to do clear lenses. We'll do some tinted lenses. We'll also have mirrored lenses, so like the blue mirrored or the kind of the reflective lenses. And then we're going to do a photochromatic lens, which is a lens that will auto darken. It'll darken up when it's subjected to UV light. So if it's a cloudy day, it won't get as dark. Or if it's an overcast day, but then if you got full sunlight or a lot of UV lens, the lens will get automatically a little bit darker. So that's a pretty neat feature. So that's the overview on the new Edge Goggle. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're going to do a lot more of these comparisons. We'll do a full goggle comparison. We're also going to do a full snow gear, outerwear comparison, helmets. Subscribe to our social media. We'll be doing some giveaways and things on those platforms. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Let us know what your comments are. Let us know what you think of the new goggles. We'd love to hear your ideas, feedback, any ideas you guys have. We'd love to see that stuff. So shoot us some messages and give us some comments on those platforms. Thanks for watching.